we have the start chapter together recording behind. It's really short. So I am assuming that we are going to see the recordings for the group songs, not for the solos. Because 15 minutes, it's not that long for 8 songs. So yeah, let's jump right into it.
그려놨던 투바투 서사에서의 그림의 종착지인데, 물론 저희는 더 앞으로 다른 이야기를 기획하고 만들어 나가야겠지만은 저는 종착지까지 온 것만으로도 잘했다고 생각합니다.
저는 아직도 신기해요. 꿈의 장 스타로 시작했는데 벌써 저희 서사의 마지막 앨범까지 왔다고 하니까 신기하네요.
길고 길었던
네.
서사의 끝.
참 길었습니다. 완전 기억나요. 전 모든 앨범 녹음하는 순간이 하나하나 다 기억나요.
저도 다 기억나요.
네, 다
어느
기억나요.
부스에서 누가 녹음했는 것도 다 기억이 나고, 어떤 상황이었는지 뭐가 어려운지 다 기억이 납니다.
기억나죠?
엄청 오래 걸렸던 거 기억나요. 한 3개월 했던 것 같아요.
저희 타이틀곡 Beautiful Strangers는 서로의 이름을 불러줌으로써 서로를 구원해주고 서로의 상처를 치유해준다, 그런 내용인데, 모아분들이 항상 저희에게 너희들이 나의 인생을 구해줬어, 너희들 덕분에 행복할 수 있어, 이런 얘기를 많이 해주시는데 저희도 모아분들에게 같은 마음을 갖고 있거든요. 그래서 좀 그런 저희의 이야기를 담은 곡입니다.
그런 거 되게 많아요. You saved my life.
맞아요. 이거 되게 많이 있어요.
네. 근데 그거 뭔가 되게 보면은 좋아요.
그러니까 뭔가 우리가 뭐라고 저렇게까지
우리가 뭐라 된 거 같잖아. 감사하죠.
Yeonjun in his Jimin era. Put your
그냥 한번 다시 해볼 수 있을까요?
put yourself away, Yeonjun, please. Wear your clothes properly. He does that on purpose.
잠시만요.
밴드 구간이 될 것 같은 비트만 나오는? 빵! 그 부분이 되게 꽂혔고 좋은 춤이랑 되게 어우러졌을 때 저희들의 멋진 모습을 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같다.
The choreography came out like 2 hours ago for me right now.
뭐가 있다라고
So
생각이 들어서 또 나머지 곡들
the next video
보다
is
더
going to
좋았던
be
것
that.
같아서 재밌었어요.
저 트위치 PT잖아요. 내가 녹음 부스 안에서 약간 늘 표현하는
believe
표현이
that.
있거든요. 누구의 고치 마냥 목소리 뽑혀 나간다고.
Yep.
근데 진짜 이제는 그게 술술 잘 되는 것 같아요. PD님이 뭐 원하시는지도.
통으로 잘했다.
Yeah.
진마만 어떻게 찍을게요?
진마
네.
진성으로 할까요? 가성으로 할까요?
He communicates with
하고 좀 더 호흡으로 뱉어줘.
하이.
others really well musically. Taeyeon.
말을 아까 네가 제일 처음에서 조금만 더 길게 해볼게.
하이.
너의 이름을 불러
너의 최대한 느리게.
This is such a difficult line.
너의 이름을
How he is
좋아요.
like
사실 이렇게 되면 메인은 벌써 끝난 건데.
stepping up to that
그러면
note.
애드립을 하자.
And live is going to sound amazing, but I just know that this is challenging.
좀 더.
I don't know how challenging for Taeyeon. Oh, come on.
좋아요.
하이.
좋았습니다. 일단
하이. 고생하셨습니다.
목소린 점점 커져
너무 늘어진다.
네.
Bonview is just showing off.
그리고 목을
His pride.
이렇게 할게요.
목소린 점점 커져
His
목소린
Yeah.
점점 커져
점점 이렇게 가볼게요.
He really looks
점점
like he just
은희
came out
혹시-
from the military, not going to lie.
그거예요.
Especially after seeing the
점점 커져
BTS members, of
네.
course.
그쵸. 오케이. 네.
how their like post-military body looks
좋아지고
like.
있는데 너무 늘어져요.
네.
점
Bomgyu
짧게 하고
is,
이렇게 확 씹어줘야 돼요.
네.
especially compared to how small he was, yeah, he bulked up. I mean, he took it seriously when he said during Ronjin that he's going to come back and beat Jin. Yeah, he's going to become stronger.
네, 수고하셨습니다.
고생하셨습니다.
네.
타이틀곡이 진짜 제가 낼 수 있는 음역대의 끝자락에 거쳐져 있는 곡이었어서 녹음하면서도 좀 음이
Really?
차이 많이 났었는데
Love the Mickey Mouse.
영원의 약속
네.
Interesting.
피님이 근데 막 너무 좋다고 생각하고 겁먹지 말고 질러라
수빈이 진짜 잘한다.
감사합니다.
좋고 좀만 더 힘 줘볼게요.
It's really interesting to me because I really didn't thought that Subin would have problem vocally with that song because it has a lot of like whispering and soft tones but really like high register things as well, and Subin has a pretty wild range. He has like middle notes, lower tones, higher register. He can do falsetto and like lower stuff as well. So I especially after like everything that they did, like recording wise, and what is came into my mind, it's the Killer, when they recorded the Killer, and Subin said that he really like evolved vocally and learned a lot, and he figured that he can do a lot of stuff with his voice that he didn't even thought about before the Killer. So for me, this track, especially like right now hearing what he is doing in the recording space, it really reminds me of the Killer with the whisper tones and how soft a lot of times he is with his voice. But maybe he just plays it safely right now because the producers are going to give him feedback. But like, I really okay.
좋고
Yeah, I can. For me, especially right now, we saw Bomgyu, of course. Bomgyu's falsetto and how Bomgyu can make the like necessary sound that it's like required for this song. I think it suits him better a little bit, like this whispery stuff. But Subin's voice is really like a chameleon for me, because Subin can do a lot of tough stuff that he says like, I am not good in this field, I am not able to do this and that, and at the end of the day he is capable of it. It's just like a new thing and he doesn't experience it. And like, I appreciate that like the like people on the other side of the glass is praising him because he evolved a lot and grow up, and his voice became what we came to know today. And it was not like that in the beginning of their career. Obviously every one of them changed, but I think out of the members, Subin is the one who really conscious and really, I wouldn't say that he's scared to let it out, his voice, but at the same time he talked about it in My Fave's Fave, how he doesn't had like vocal abilities that was like way more advanced than others during the like trainee era and debut time, and he really had to learn everything from ground zero, and how his singing coaches and trainers were like encouraging him to curse a lot really loudly and be more confident with his voice and like build a stable like groundwork for his voice. And I can see why he's a little bit more reserved when it comes to letting his voice out. And I hope, and I know that he learned a lot during the years, but I hope he can step even further in this situation, in this case. Yeah, he is.
Together, you.
그리고 U를 더 씹을게요.
네. You. Together, you. We do it for love. You.
네, 수고하셨습니다.
우와. 아.
네.
고생하셨습니다. 너무 힘든데.
And I'm saying that because I saw a lot of times during other recording behinds that Subin was, if not always, the one, but one of the members who always had a little bit of a doubt when it comes to his voice and how he can do what the producers want him to do. And that's why I'm just happy that like other like people who are giving the instructions are acknowledging him and his like abilities and that he really is trying. So it's a really good like way or indicator of that he is the archetype of a idol who is really wants to reach their dreams, and no matter what they are going to learn everything from everyone and everything, like they are going to give everything.
진짜 너무 힘들어요. 안 되는 음이면은 못 한다고 하는 건데 너무 힘들게 되는 음이어서
One more time please, because I
너무 힘들어요.
여태
너무 힘들어요.
how he
안 되는
phrased it,
음이면은
if it's a note I can't hit,
못 한다고 하는 건데
I would just say I can't do it. Yeah,
너무 힘들게
but it's a note
되는
I
음이어서
can barely hit.
하여튼 지금
So he's stuck a little
여태
bit,
했던
like
앨범이랑
he
똑같았어요.
can, but it's a
키
little
중에
bit of a
어떤 게 더
struggle.
나을까 했는데 한 키 올린 게 낫다 해서 한 키 올린 걸로 된 거예요.
그러니까 이제 수빈이 좀 더 힘들어요.
맞아요.
이름을 불러 마치 아이.
And so interesting how the other members also say that Subin has a problem, because if you really think about it, and I always, when I hear Subin talk, like his talking voice is the deepest out of the members, but how he can manipulate his voice during singing, and it's not a coincidence that his nickname is the 4th Gen Falsetto King, but like Bomgyu's voice when he's singing is a lower tone than Subin's, but when it comes to like this type of like key changes, and it's Subin is the one who is struggling. I don't know if it's a technical thing or it's just naturally his voice is not that like flexible, I would say. And it really circles back to the thought that he has to be way more like out and about and just like be really confident and let his voice out. I would be really intrigued by a track where Subin is really like sings big time, like a really monumental stuff, or it's just like a angry track, like where he's really can be like sassy and like in your face. That would be really, really fun to
말
see
찾으래
and how he would execute that type
네.
of songs.
마치 아이가 말 찾으래 너의 이름을 불러 이 순간이 넌 너의 이름을 불러 이
너무 좋거든. 이렇게 더 에너지고 발음 더 타이트하게 해야 돼요.
네.
자,
너의 이름을 불러 이 순간이 너무 아름다워 이 순간이 너무
이시 너무 과도해.
네
이시 좀 더 호흡처럼 편해야 돼요. 태양이처럼.
네.
Mm.
불러 이 순간이 너무 아름다워 세상이 우리 다 비웃어도 두렵지 않은 이유
저 오히려 뒤쪽이 고음이 더 쉬웠어요. 오히려 고음이 오히려 더 편하고. 근데 문제가 이제 오히려 애매하게 낮은 게 더 힘들었어요 저한테.
왜냐면 이게
I know that we don't know what happened with Subin when he was on his hiatus. We just know that it was some kind of medical issue. It doesn't have to mean that he had some kind of like throat problem, but if it was that, and that's why he is not that confident, because maybe it was psychological stuff. It doesn't have to be like physical thing, but I feel like because TXT is in their 6th year as a group, and I'm not saying that you should be like 100% like expert, because there is always room for development, especially in a field where new trends are happening every day and vocal stuff is changing, and it's a really, really fast industry. I'm just saying that you should be able to have a comfortable position, or as I've said, a ground, when you have a certain type of like, okay, I am the most comfortable here. And I am sure that Subin has that as well, because he is really conscious about like how he phrased it in before, how he said like, if it would have been a note that I am like certainly can't hit, I would have just said like I can do it. But here it's a note that he can barely reach, and he can't really say that he can't do it 100%, but at the same time he can't really say that he can do it like comfortably and being self-assured, you know. And I appreciate when a artist knows their limits and what is comfortable for them, especially when it comes to recordings and stuff like that. That's why I am really enjoying seeing this type of content, because it's really a sneak peek behind the curtains. And yeah, it's I'm just saying that if Subin feels like he needs something plus or more, or it's not necessarily he needs it, it's just like if it would make him more comfortable, that would be fine. Because it's just like, really, it's not a good thing to see him not being comfortable or confident, you know. And if it was just like this video, I wouldn't even talk about it like in great length like this. But as I've said, and if you guys watched a few recording behinds for TXT, you can see whether if he's talking about it or not, he can portray his like dislikes or dissatisfaction through the camera a lot of times when he's in the recording booth, and it's just like, so yeah, it's not a good thing to see that.
아예 높은 음이 가면 다른
because he's a
그
great
다른
performer
상대를
and
어,
he
쓰게
should
돼요.
be
그래서
confident.
그게 더 쉬워요 오히려.
He
근데
should
이제
have
변화하는
confidence.
구간이 어려워요.
이 변화하는 구간이 딱 이제 라시도거든요. 솔라시거든요. 이 2옥타브 솔라시인데 여기는 이제 변환하기 전에 이걸로
끌고
고음을
가야
내야
되는
되는 거기 때문에
Huninkai doing his
그래서
perfect
어려워요.
pitch
근데
situation.
그 도부터는 그냥 이렇게 해서
Just the
하면
usual
되니까
Friday,
더
you know?
쉽거든요. 그래서 이 솔라시를 매끄럽게 만드는 게 제일 중요하다. 그걸 전 아직도 하고 있어요. 예, 연구 중이다.
근데 사실
Like that's
멤버들이
what I'm saying. Like
이제는
they are
곡에
knowing
대한
what they
받아들이는
want to
마음
do and what they
자체가
have to
되게
work on.
야박해져서
That's a really good thing.
깐깐해져서 이걸로
Confidence
진짜
that I
잘
like.
될 수 있어? 를 본인 스스로 100번을 물어보고 내리는 결정이다 보니까 그래서 사실 아마 다 한 번 이렇게 마음에 드는 사람은 없었을 거예요. 저도
맞아요. 열애장의 서사에 맞게 마무리를 짓는 듯한 투바투의 모든 여정을 끝마친다는 느낌이 많이 드는 곡이라고 생각합니다.
저 별의 노래.
나도. 저도 별의 노래.
약간 들으면 울컥해요. 나 괜히 울컥하던데. 나 녹음마다.
아 그랬어요?
나만 그랬나 모르겠는데 나는 그랬어. 이거 듣다가 좀 울컥하게. 뭔가 심금을 울리는 노래인 것 같다.
함께 노래하는 너와 나 우리의
Aww.
함께 노래하는 너와 나 함께 흘렸던 눈물 함께 흘렸던 눈물
This was really Huninkai of him.
춤은 함께 흘렸던
좋고 함께 전에
Destroying the studio.
함께
그것만
흘렸던
해도
근데
Giving
주문까지
everything,
한
you
번만
know?
좀 해주실까요?
네.
함께 흘렸던 눈물 그걸로 만든 춤은 함께 흘렸던 눈물
Okay, so we
그걸로
have
만든 춤은
좋다.
네.
서로를 위해 흘린 눈물 건네지는 온기.
서로
서로일 때 힘 빼고 좀 더 호흡 섞어서.
네.
서로를 위해 흘린 눈물
좋아요.
Upside Down Kiss.
흘린
45 songs.
네.
The album.
눈물 건네지는 너 아, 잠깐만
느낌은 좋아요.
눈물 건네지는 온기
원래 저는 별의 노래 장르 자체가 제가 되게 좋아하는 음악 장르와 스타일이기도 하고 너무
Yeah, I agree.
뭐 이렇게 좀 뭐지? 삑사리 나는 느낌으로 해볼 수 있는.
나의 이름
그렇죠.
불리운 나의 이름
나에 넣는 건 어떠세요?
그렇게 해볼게요.
네.
불리운 나의 이름 불리운 나의 이름
제가 이번 앨범을
And as I've said
마스터를 다
in
받아서
my
쫙 듣는데
last video,
제 솔로곡이 마지막에
I am still
맞아요.
just
그래서
doing
제
the
목소리를
behind the
끝나자마자 제
stuff
목소리로
for
별의
the
노래가
album,
나와요.
and
진짜 그 첫 소절을 너무 잘한 거예요.
after this I'm going to check out
별의 노래 첫 소절
the dance
진짜 너무
practice
잘한
for Beautiful Strangers, and
그거는
then I'm going to jump
맞아요.
into
앨범을 돌리다가 모아들이
the album.
딱 8번 트랙 넘어가서 별의 목소리 하자마자
Oh no,
이제
I'm going to
이렇게.
do a lot more stuff for Beautiful Strangers. I'm going to do the studio tune, live stage, and then the album reaction is starting.
다시 한번 해볼게요.
I'm doing everything, guys. That's why I waited until now with the album reaction, because I wanted to do everything. I waited for the releases of the performances, studio tune, everything. And as I've said, the dance practice just dropped
좋은데
2
더
hours
심하네.
ago right now, so
별과
my timing was on point.
늘 너무 그렇게 안 해도 되고 좀 자연스럽게.
저 별과 우린 늘 그 곁에
네. 해철이 좀 이렇게 좀 더 애절하게.
기억해 한 번 더 준다
힘 너무 빠져요. 힘이 있어야 돼.
기억해
해준이 말대로 5명이도 목소리 같이 나올 때 약간 좀 울컥하는 그런 그런 게 있었어요.
그 별의 노래가 중간에 떼창도 있잖아요. 그래서 공연에서 하게 되면은 모아분들이랑 이렇게 같이 떼창식으로 부르고 하면은 또 감동이 배가 될 것 같기도 하고, 사실 이 곡의 메시지 자체가 모아와 저희를 이렇게 이야기하는 거잖아요. 그래서 뭔가 그 가사와 노래에서 오는 진정성이 되게 잘 이렇게 어우러지는 환상적인 곡인 것 같습니다. 저는 최근에 저희 블루스프링 있잖아요. 공연에서 그때 좀 울컥했었어요.
I mean,
저는
yeah, Song of
블루스프링
the Star, Blue
말고 다시
Spring,
나왔죠.
and
다시 나왔을 때 다 함성이 제일 컸거든요. 저도 약간 그때는 이렇게
Maze in the
했는데
Mirror.
모르겠어요. 다음 투어 때는 뭔가 저는 3명 올 수도 있을 것 같아요.
Duba
그
Du
3명
Bari
올 수도
Bari.
있을 것 같아요.
But that song has a different type of feel, but
오랜만에 또
all of
그런
these
정보고
are fan
정말
songs,
자체가
so of
곡들이
course
많이
it's
포함이
really
되어 있어요.
emotional.
모델의 솔로 곡들이 전 되게 하이라이트라고 생각을 하고 우리 모아분들께서 들으시는 재미가 쏠쏠하지 않을까
They
싶습니다.
look so nice.
많이
They
들어주시고
look
많이
really
사랑해주셨으면
good in
좋겠습니다.
these
이걸
outfits.
어떻게 사실 들으실지 어떻게
Taeyeon is
받아들이실지는
such
잘은
baby
저는
girl.
모르겠어요. 어쨌든 이 길었던 서사가
As of
마음의 내림에
nowadays,
대해서
I saw the
누군가 붙들릴 수도 있고,
TikToks.
누군가 아쉬워할 수도 있고 복합적인 감정이 들 테지만 이 앨범이 사실 만들어진 거는 구할이 사실 뭐하다. 왜냐면은 여러분들이 없었으면은 서사를 완성시키지 못했을 거고 그만큼의 이야기가 담겨서 지금의 타이틀곡이나 별의 노래로 쓰이지 못했을 거예요. 간접적으로 정말 많이 여러분이 알게 모르게 참여한 앨범이다. 여러분의 앨범이니 여러분이 좋아해 주셔야겠죠. 많은 사랑
Yup.
부탁드리고요. 러브 랭귀지보다 더 폭발적인 사랑 부탁드리겠습니다.
지금까지 투모로우바이
그렇습니다. 안녕.
감사합니다.
Nice. I mean, to be honest, I am actually happy that Love Language was not included. That was a single. Because the overall vibe of the album, even though I didn't listen to the album yet, but based on the previews, other than Upside Down Kiss, all of the songs are connected with this, like, I mean, Dance With You and Sunday Driver is a little bit of an outlier, but it's a really coherent album sound-wise. It's way more connected to each other, the songs, than it was in the Star Chapter Sanctuary album. And it was a yeah, if you knew, then I'm going to talk about it. If you're not new, just skip ahead. But I was not the biggest fan of the Star Chapter Sanctuary as a whole, as an album. In my opinion, they had more like, I don't know, like albums that captivate their individual and as a group sound and what they are talking about. Like, they are the narrators of youth. And actually recently I thought about it nowadays, like until while I waited to do the album reaction, I was like really thought about it, like which albums were my favorite or which era of TXT I appreciate the most. And I came to the conclusion that a lot of earlier stuff of TXT, like out of the 6 years, the first few years, and then it's like here and there 1 or 2 tracks or minisode or a album segment, not even a whole album, is remained my favorite. And I don't know if it's because I was pretty much there when they debuted, and I almost had the privilege to follow them with the comebacks at the same time. My first comeback was Blue Hour, when I was really, really like tapped in, because of course, I've heard Puma and the Eternally album when it came out, but I was not following the comeback. Blue Hour was the first comeback that I was like, I know it's going to happen. I watched the trailers, the concept photos, everything. But I was with TXT from 2019, late 2019. Yeah, December, November of 2019. So maybe it's just like emotional attachment, but sonically, I really, 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 really appreciate their earlier stuff. I know it's like evolving the sound itself and them as artists as well. It's just like something that is like there in that, like, one of my all-time favorite B-sides of TXT is Our Summer. And it's just like whenever I hear that song, I am automatically there when it came out, and it's just like reminiscing about that time, even though it was not that long ago if you really think about it. Time just flies, especially after 2020. It's just like sequels. Each year is a sequel. I don't even count them as like legit years of my life, to be honest. And it's just special. And that's why TXT is one of my old group, out of two groups, of course, BTS and TXT. And but I get easily attached to groups, but it takes a whole different type of love for me, for a group, to do this type of length, like doing recording behinds and dance practice and live and studio tune, and then checking out the album. Usually I would do album reaction and maybe a behind the scenes one for the channel, and then I am doing everything else off camera, and then maybe talk about it when I am coming on camera. But yeah, it's just different.